Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor, to the LLAP, Terran Orbital Earnings Report. Now, this is going to be a bit unusual. In fact, I will say it's the very first time that this situation has occurred. We have to adapt and deal with it. It is what it is, but Terran Orbital Earnings is going to be like no other earnings. I will reveal all in a few minutes. We are going early. I know that the show is advertised for this time, but we will give it a couple of minutes, get everybody in, and we've got to make a very unusual announcement. This has never happened before, but it's happened. Who was it who requested this? Somebody requested this, LLAP, Terran Orbital. If you could just remind me who it was that requested this. I'll just wait a few minutes. Shia Majors, you're very, very welcome. Please remind me again. I've got 1,000 things to do today, but if you do remind me, I will check it again. But anyway, if you're over on the 12-hour stream, we've just started the LLAP earnings. It's a bit unusual, as I'm about to break to you all in a moment. Come and join me on the main channel, and we'll get into it. But it's very, very quiet at the moment. Just a few people joining me so far. But I'm going to surprise you. You're going to go, what's all that about? Anyway, this is the first time this has happened. So over there on Rumble, good morning to you as well. Welcome to all of my Rumblers. We're just preparing for the event here on YouTube and Rumble for the LLAP, Terran Orbital. And once we get a few people in, I'll make the announcement. I don't want to repeat it over and over again. It will confuse a few people, so we want to keep that to a minimum. But today has been a bit odd for an earnings. This has never happened before. And once I get a few more in, I will make the announcement of what's happening. But it's a very unusual situation. So sip your coffee, buckle up for a very unusual earnings. Okay. Terran Orbital. If we look at the stock price right now, as you can see, if we go back, in fact, if I show you on this screen, probably best, we got a 1 month. It came up on the hope of 1 week, came up on the hope of the earnings. It's now gone back down again. As you can see, it's all selling back down again. We've had a nice little run over the last month, but a little 5.5%, but it's all coming back down again. 3 months, year to date is up, but it's flat over the year, but 32% down on the year. The overall year, not year to date. And as you can see, very unusual stock there. It was a SPAC. You can see that, the $10. And then it just fell off. The SPACs tend to do that. They don't tend to do very well statistically. Anyway, good afternoon, admiring curling. Didn't realize I can watch on Rumble switching over. Yes, you can watch on Rumble. I have a Rumble channel as well. I have Rumble and YouTube. The biggest channel is YouTube by 1,000,000%. But you can also watch on Rumble if you prefer that. Okay, now then, Terran Orbital. Have we got enough people in now to make the announcement? We've got a few. It's a very quiet one. Terran Orbital have done something I've not seen before, and I've been double-checking to make absolutely sure I was correct on this. But we were expecting a Terran Orbital earnings in 20 minutes at 10 a.m. Central Time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's what we were expecting. That's what was advertised. Since then, though, they've sneaked in an earnings on April the 1st at 4:30 in the morning, Eastern Time, 3:30 in the morning, Central Time. Very bizarre situation, but there it is. That's what's happened, and that's where we are. Very, very odd. They've done an earnings call. They've not posted the presentation, so we can't present the earnings. There's no audible. There's no on their archives and their latest news and presentations. There is none on their website. There is no presentation that we can pick up. So all we have are the financial results. So that's what we're going to report on right now. So that's all we have, I'm afraid. So now I've made that announcement and we know where we stand. We're going to go through the financial results, look at it. But this isn't very professional, I have to say. Not very good at all. There's been no live presentation. There's nothing in the archives. There's nothing new, nothing lined up. They just did it themselves internally, posted it, and that's it. That's what we have. So that's all we can go on. You know, every company does its own thing, and not everyone does it to the best of standards, but that's how we are right now. So that's what we're going to present to you, and unfortunately, that is it. So there it is. Anyway, we'll do that now. And then we'll put this out as its own video as well. And that is the best that we can do because the actual live presentation call doesn't exist. There isn't one. It doesn't exist anywhere. So this is what we've got right now. So let me go over to it and I'm going to give you all the information that I can. So here we go. So let's start. We'll cut this down as a video by itself. All right. So this is what we're going to do. So I will edit this down at this point. Now I've explained it all. So we'll cover this at 12 minutes LLAP. This is how we're going to do it. Right. Welcome to the LLAP Terran Orbital earnings. It's going to be unusual, this one. Unfortunately, we were expecting the earnings in 20 minutes from now. I'm making this during a live show. Unfortunately, the event isn't happening. It's already happened behind closed doors. There was no call. There was no presentation. I know that because I've checked with the investor relations and there is nothing there posted coming upward. And there's nothing in the archives, but we do have the results. So we have the results. So we're going to cover the results on this, but there is no Q&A and there is no audible visual presentation, just the financial results. That's it. It doesn't exist. It's the very first time I've ever seen this on an earnings, but it is what it is. So all we can do is report what we had. So as you can see right now, the stock is down today, 6.65%. I mean, not going to be great when they don't present. What we have, and I'm going to share with you right now the best we can with this earnings call. So this is the website. And we're looking at terranorbital.com. And if you go into investor relations, there's nothing announced anywhere that you can look at or listen to. But what we do have is we have a transcript here. And that's what I'm about to share with you right now. This is where the event was supposed to happen. And if we refresh this, there is nothing. There is nothing to say. So this is very bearish, as far as I'm concerned, of a publicly traded company just not doing its presentation to its investors, just simply providing the financial report without answering any questions and without going live for everyone to tune into. I'm not impressed by this. It's the very first time I've ever seen this, other than Mullen, of course, but Mullen is a scam stock and anybody knows that. This wasn't supposed to be that. So anyway, there is the chart, what you're looking at right now. There's Terran Orbital. It's down today. No surprise. The overall markets are down. So all we can do is give you the actual numbers. This was the result. And from here, you can decide whether this was a good earnings for you or not. But there's no listening into the CEO, the CFO. There's no guidance. This is what you're getting. All right, so let me bring you the information. If you'd like to support the channel, I've done my best by you. There's nothing more I can do. Smash the like and subscribe. Let's go into it. So Terran Orbital reports record 2023 financial results. That looks good. Look, they reported at 1st of April at 4:31 Eastern time when everybody was asleep. Unbelievable. I mean, what is that all about? Anyway, it is what it is. There isn't much we can do about that, I'm afraid. Very, very peculiar behavior. For that itself, I wouldn't invest in the company. So, record 2023 revenue of 135.9 million, up 44% year over year. I mean, every reason to shout from the rooftops. Record 2023 gross profit of 8.6 million, improved 25.8 million over prior year. Very good. Manufacturing 78 satellites for Lockheed Martyn for Space Development Agency programs, signed over 2.7 billion in new awards in 2023, representing more than 360 satellites. Introduced 7 new standard bus designs spanning multiple size classes of satellites. Launched new responsive space initiative to deliver standard buses in 30 days with integrated payloads in 60 days. Commissioned new 50 tech facility and broke ground on Goodyear expansion facility. 71.7 million cash balance as of December 31st, 2023. Okay, Diamond Hands. Hello, Martyn. You can read earnings summary and analyze on stock Titan. Thank you ever so much, Diamond Hands. I'm doing that now. I'm bringing out the report this way. All right. Thank you very much indeed. Just back. Thanks, Martyn. David Warnes. You are very welcome. So let's zoom a little bit so we can make sure I get it as big as possible and zoom to so you can see it as clearly as possible. Terran Orbital, a leading manufacturer of satellite products, primarily serving the aerospace and defense industries, today announced financial results and operational highlights for the 3 and 12 months ended December the 31st, 2023. If you've just tuned in, there's no earnings call. They've not done a presentation, no live Q&A. They posted it at 4:31 in the morning. And unfortunately, all I can do is read it to you. So that's what I'm doing. It's the first time we've ever had this happen on a publicly traded company. Very, very strange indeed. Full year 2023 financial highlights. Generated revenue, a record revenue of 135 million, up 44% year over year. Gross profit of 8.6 million compared to 17 million loss in 22. Adjusted gross profit of 19.4 million compared to 2.2 million loss in 22. Very good. Net loss of 151.8 million, improved from a net loss of 164 million in prior year. So there you go. Terran Orbital is improving from those numbers. Okay. Marc Bell, co-founder and chairman and chief executive officer of Terran Orbital, said, "I am pleased to report our company's strong results in 2023. Our revenue growth and gross margin improvement affirm the strength of our strategy and execution. The future of space is responsive, and Terran Orbital is well positioned to capitalize on this growing market segment. We're focused on sustainable growth, achieving profitability and delivering solutions that meet evolving customer needs. Terran Orbital isn't just keeping pace with disruption. We're at the forefront, shaping the future of the space economy through responsive space." Well, I have to say I'm not very happy because I'm having to read their entire earnings call as they didn't turn up and present it. So I'm not very happy at all. This is a lot of work for me to go through all this, but I'm going to do it because my members requested it, and here we are. But I can say I'm not very impressed by having to do this. Results for the fourth quarter and full year 2023. Revenue for the fourth quarter 2023 was 31.6 million compared to 31.9 million last quarter in 2022 and 135.9 million for the full year, up 44% over the prior year. The increases in annual revenue was primarily due to the continued and increased level of progress made in satisfying our customer contracts and reflects the ongoing favorable impact from significant contract wins and firm fixed price programs. EAC represents the total estimated cost at completion and is comprised of direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead applicable to a performance obligation. Cost of sales for the quarter was 32.1 million compared to 42.1 million in the same period in the prior year, and 127.4 million for the full year compared to 111.5 million for the prior year. The increase in cost of sales for the full year was primarily due to an increase of 6.8 million in share-based compensation expense, 3.9 million lost revenue, and 2.1 million in scrap and obsolete materials and services. Cost of sales for the full year included an estimated negative impact of 2.1 million due to the EAC adjustments on certain programs and non-recurring changes in estimates related to infantry. Okay, if you've just joined us, you will know that Terran Orbital have not done a live presentation. They've just posted the transcript, which I am reading out. I'm very unhappy with this. I think it's very substandard, but there you go. It's given me a lot of work to do, but there it is. All right. Nevertheless, gross loss profit was 0.5 million for the quarter compared to 10.8 million in the same period in the prior year, and 8.6 million for the full year compared to 17.3 million for the prior year. Excluding share-based compensation and depreciation and amortization included in cost of sales, adjusted gross loss profit was 2.2 million for the quarter compared to 7.3 million for the same period in the prior year, and 19.4 million for the full year compared to 2.2 million in the prior year. EAC adjustments negatively impacted gross profit and adjusted gross profit by an estimate of 4 million during 2023. Selling, general and administrative expenses were 27.2 million for the quarter compared to 27.6 million for the same period in the prior year, and 117.5 million for the full year compared to 111.9 million for the prior year. The increase for the full year was primarily driven by increase in salaries and wages, research and development expenses, business development expenses, depreciation and amortization, and other operating costs, partially offset by decrease in share-based compensation, expense and accounting, legal and other professional fees. Net loss was 42.8 million in the quarter compared to a net loss of 33 million for the same period in the prior year, and 115.8 million for the full year compared to 164 million for the prior year. The improvement in annual net loss was driven by net positive impact of the items noted above, as well as the absence of debt extinguishment in 2023, partially offset by the change in the fair values of warrant and derivative liabilities and higher interest expense in 2023. Adjusted EBITDA was 20.6 million for the quarter 2023 compared to 26.1 million in the same period in the prior year, and 77.4 million for the full year compared to 69.5 million for the prior year. The decrease in adjusted EBITDA for the full year was primarily due to the increase in selling, general administrative expenses as a result of our growth initiatives, partially offset by an increase in adjusted gross profit. Capital expenditures totaled 23.1 million 23, up from 22.5 million in 22. Balance sheet and liquidity. If you've just joined me, I'm having to read the transcript here from Terran Orbital. They just sneaked this in. They've not done a live presentation, sadly. There is none. It was done at 3 o'clock in the morning. They put this out. I've no idea why they would do that. I think it's disrespectful to their investors, and I'm not very pleased. I have to read their entire transcript. I'm not paid by them or hired by them to do it, but one of my members requested this earnings, so I'm covering it the best way I can. I've never had to do this before, but it is what it is. We have to get it done, I guess. not very professional in my opinion. As of December 31st, 2023, Terran Orbital had 71.7 million of cash on hand and approximately 313.8 million in gross debt obligations. The company's debt included 16.9 million in connection with an obligation under one of its PIPI investments subscription agreements, which is payable in cash or equity at the company's option, subject to certain limitations. Backlog. Backlog represents the estimated dollar value of executed contracts, including both funded firm orders of which funding is authorized and appropriated, and unfunded portions of such contracts for which work has not been performed. The unfunded portion of enforceable contract is accounted for as a variable consideration and is reported and are estimates of the most likely amount to which the company is expected to be entitled. Although backlog reflects business associated with contracts that are considered to be firm, terminations, amendments, or contracts cancellations may occur, which could result in a reduction in our total backlog. Our backlog totaled 2.7 billion as of December 31st, 23, of which 2.4 billion is related to Rivada Space Networks compared to backlog of 170.8 million as of December 31st, 2022. The 2023 milestones: launched 12 satellites into space, including Runner 1 for ImageSat International, Tantrum for Lockheed Martin, 10 satellites for Space Development Agency's Tranche 0 Transport Layer. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Awarded 2.7 billion in new contracts, including 300 satellites for Rivada Space Networks, 36 satellites for Lockheed Martin for SDA Tranche 2. That's Tranche, isn't it? Tranche, yes. Tranche Transport Layer Beta, 16 satellite constellations from new customers, contract with Axion to supply satellites to the Air Force Research Laboratory, and a European Space Agency award for proximity operations and in-orbit servicing. Executing on expansion plans. Let me just see who's still with me watching this presentation. Okay, if you've just tuned in, there is no formal earnings. I have just got the transcripts, and that's what I'm reading out. I was asked to cover this earnings, so this is the best that is available. The stock is down today, but the overall markets are down. This is where the presentation was supposed to exist, and unfortunately it hasn't. They've left it for me to read it out. Not very happy. Executing on expansion plans. Completed 50 techs, 60,000 of SF addition to our existing manufacturing facility. Increased clean room space tenfold. Completed our new printed circuit board assembly PCBA facility. Completed our new model testing facility. Over 2,500 modules built. Expanded internal harness capability, delivered over 2,200 harnesses to programs, installed new large shaker table, TVAC chamber and shock testing facility, increased robotic assembly from module to panel vehicle subassembly level, broke ground on new 94,000 of satellite assembly facility, anticipated to take possession in second quarter of 2024. Winning industry accolades. You don't win nothing for not presenting your earnings. Time Magazine's Time 100 Most Influential Companies 2023. Fast Company's Most Innovative Companies of 2023. Business Intelligence Group's Big Award for Business, Small Business of the Year 2023. Octane High Tech Awards, Best Large Disruptor. Oops, Daisy. Oh, that's okay. I was worried for a minute. I was doing something wrong. Office of the Secretary of Defense's Patriotic Employer Award 2023. Conference call information. In light of the company's ongoing strategic review, management has decided to cancel... Finally, it decided to cancel its previously scheduled fourth quarter and full year 2023 earnings call. Thank you very much. Don't worry about it. Just don't bother turning up. It's perfectly fine. You can apologize to your investors if you want. Anyway, about Terran Orbital, we don't need to read about. We know what the company is. Forward-looking statements, we don't need that. That's the technical jargon. We don't need to read any of that. Now, here are the financials. I'm just going to give you 2023. And if you might want to pause this, you can. What do you make of this, folks? Assets, cash and equivalents, 71,663. Accounts receivable net, 14,735. Of course, these are numbers in millions and billions, of course, as you know. Inventory, 33,348. Total current assets 155,979. I think it's best that you pause this and zoom in yourself. Total assets 220,313. Let me scroll to the bottom of the balance sheet. That's probably the best way rather than reading them all out. Total liabilities and shareholders deficit 220,313. Terran Orbital condensed consolidated statements and comprehensive loss unaudited in thousands except share and per share amounts in thousands. Okay, so there you go. 23 revenue is 31,600 in 2023. Cost of sales 32,134. Gross loss profit, 534. Selling general, 27,193. I'm going to skip to the bottom, not going to read every number out there. Okay, now we've got the condensed consolidated statements of cash flows. Cash flows from operating activities, 151,843, down from 163 in 2022. And again, if you want to pause this, you can and take a look at these figures yourself. I'm not going to read every single figure. That seems a bit ridiculous to do that. But anyway, I'm not the CFO of the company after all. They couldn't be bothered to do it themselves. Why should I be doing it? Right, let's scroll down to the bottom of this. So cash and equivalents at the end of the period in 2022 was 93,561. This is 71,663. Okay, we don't need to read that. That's just terminology. We don't need to read that. So here we go. Now we've got the 3 months ended and the year ended. The gross profit. In 22, the gross profit, 10,787. And in 2023, it's 534 gross loss profit. So as you can see, they've improved their position there. The year end, December the 31st in 22, 17,257. That's a gross profit loss has been improved to 8,560. So they've improved. Still losing money, but they've made a steady improvement. Adjusted gross profit for 23 years ended was 19,356. Adjusted gross profit loss, that was an increase from 2,190 in 22, but the 3 months ended, so the last quarter is an improvement of 22. It was 7,306 gross profit loss. And in fact, this time round in 23, 2,189. So this quarter is an improvement, but over the year of 22 and 23, it's not. It's going the wrong way. Okay, we don't need to read that. That's just terminology. And finally, the net loss 3 months ended in 22 was 32,979. It's now 42,839. So the net loss had increased over the 3 months. And the year end, the net loss of the whole year of 22, 163,980, and in 23 is 151. So their net loss was reduced, still losing money, but losing less money. Okay, that's it. That's the end of their information. As you say, as I've said, they decided just to cancel their presentation and just let me read it out. So, you know, whatever. Not very impressed with that. I don't think it's right. When you are a publicly traded company, you present your earnings and you take the questions and you take the flack from your investors. You don't just post the figures and let somebody else read it for you. But my members wanted it read out. They wanted it covered, so I've done the best I can. Let's have a look. Let me read some of the comments that you put here on this. Let's have a look. Admiring says, good afternoon, everyone. Come on, Terran Orbital. I had high hopes for this company. Matt Zink, yes, not too impressed. Thank you, Martin. David Warnes, you are very welcome. Who was it who asked me to do this? I don't know who it was now. We've got any more comments regarding this stock? Gabriel says a shout out to all the Stockwits bulls. We've just covered all the figures. I hope that we've done that for you. Lockheed Martin is trying to buy them. David Warnes, okay, thank you for that. What else have we got? Andrew Knoll says that their new buildings just got opened and will be building satellites this year. So you're seeing expenses of that without the production. That will be operational this year. Thank you, Andrew Knoll. Much appreciated that. EPS of negative 21 cents was expecting 20 cents. So obviously it missed on earnings. Thank you ever so much, Diamond Hands, for giving us that. Sorry about this, Martin. No, don't you apologize. Was it you, David, who requested it? Was it you? It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm here to serve my members. I'm just frustrated for you that there's no proper earnings. This is the best that we have. Obviously it's a lot more work for me reading it out, but that's fine. I'm here for my members. So please don't apologize. It's not you. It's Terran Orbital, who I wouldn't invest in primarily just for this. If you can't present your own earnings to your investors, then it doesn't tick the box for me. It doesn't enter the excellent box. Andrew Knoll, what was that? Payment didn't come in until Q4 24 due to delays in the Saudis. They blame the Israel-Hamas stuff. Seem like we're back on track now. Andrew Knoll, that's good to hear. Let me read down. Kron has as much cash as their market cap. That's insane. Switzerland, Thailand, Colombia, all voting in cannabis soon. That's obviously a different stock altogether. And we do have a Kron review about to premiere as well. Thank you, Jordan, for your subscription there. Right, that's the end of our earnings, unfortunately. That's the best I could present to you. So click above my head for all the links down below in the description. What we're going to do now is send you back over to our 12-hour stream. So let me just do that now. I think I may have already done that, but let me just do that. I'll put this out as its own video once it condenses down. But what I'm going to do now is send you now to the 12-hour stream where we're always live, always supporting you. Okay, so let's do that now. Send you back to the 12-hour stream. There you go. We're live there now. I'll also give you the link for that. That's where we help each other 12 hours a day. We're always live, asking questions and supporting you. Let me give you the link for that. If you want to jump into the 12-hour stream, I'll also give it to my Rumble audience as well. They may wish to jump in as well. There you go. All right. So what we're going to do now is go over to that. We've got more premieres coming out. I'll be right back early with the closing bell. I will go a couple of hours early, I anticipate, because I've got more reviews to do today and more reviews that are about to premiere as well. So I'll be coming back live. So if you're in the 12-hour stream, if you're over here in the 12-hour stream, this is where we are in behind the scenes. You can be in contact and talk to everybody. And when I have some breaking news or more information, I will come back live and I will be recording more reviews today and premiering more reviews as well. Okay, I hope that all makes sense. So we're going to send you that now to the 12-hour stream, and I will update you with all that information as it comes out. D. Kim, yes, the earnings call, we just explained it, D. Kim. Unfortunately, they cancelled their earnings. They just presented the transcript, and I have just read it all and posted it all and put it all out. It'll now go out as its own video, but we're now going back into the 12-hour stream, the live stream behind the scenes, where I can update you further with all the extra events that will happen today. All right, that's it from me. Thank you very much for joining me. The very first time I have had to be the CFO and the CEO of the company because they couldn't be bothered to turn up. I've read it all out for them. What do you make of that? Not very impressed as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, there it is. Join me now on the 12-hour stream. I will see you there live, and I'll be updating you with further information as we go. Until then, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.